Craig, you don't think a few more injuries and we're in shambles? Look, again, I had my say during the transfer window. I wanted us to bring in a forward and another midfielder, and I think that we were wrong not to do so. But I don't want to sit here and be a fan that revels in injuries. What type of an asshole does that make me? If I see a Liverpool player like Minamino picking up an injury, I don't want to be on here gloating about it, going, ha ha ha, we were all right about not making signings in the transfer window. No, none of us want that. None of us want any negative stuff around the club. I want Liverpool's players to be healthy. I want the club to do well. And I don't want to sit here and gloat or take any happiness in misery. No, of course I don't. Nobody does. We all want the same thing. Whether you're what would be called on Twitter as a top red, or whether you're just a regular Joe Soap like me, or whether you're an American, or whether you're in Canada, or whether you're in Africa, or wherever the hell in the world you are. We all want the same thing. We all want the club to do well. But some people have different views of what is, number one, what is success, and what is acceptable. And I think what we need to try and do, and again, I'm not the person to solve all of these issues, I'm an idiot. But what we all need to try and do is realise that you're over here, I'm over here, let's try and get to here. So if we talk, if we communicate, if we try and explain why we feel the way we do without being an arsehole, or without immediately trying to one-up somebody or belittle their opinion, then we'll probably understand each other a bit more, and we'll probably get to grips with what we all want from the situation, and we'll probably realise that, we've a lot more in common than we have that divides us. So I would say to all Liverpool fans right now, again, just my opinion, but there's too much divisiveness, there's too much arguments within the fan base. We all want the club to do well. That's the main thing here. We all love Liverpool Football Club, and we all want it to do well. So rather than shouting each other down, let's try and open up channels of communication, and let's try and find a way that we can maybe try and help in any small way, if we can as fans help, to ease this and give Klopp and the boys the best chance that they can do on the pitch. I think that's the long and short of it, really. I really wish we got Doku. Again, I don't want to keep going back over the transfer window. We spent months feeling like crap, banging our heads against the wall over it. A lot of people are fair weather fans, said Steve Nicol. There are, yes. I would agree with you, mate. I don't understand people, like, if we lose one game, they're losing their minds over it. Calling for players to be dropped, calling for people to be sold, telling them to get out of their club. You're right, mate. That is despicable behaviour, and nobody should be doing that. And we should all understand that you're not going to win every game of football. Players won't always perform to the best, and try and form a broader opinion of things. Craig, is that what SOS is? SOS is, it's a voice for FSG. Yeah, so what I would say about Spirit of Shankly and Spy on Cop and all of these other fantastic supporters groups is kind of think of them as kind of like a supporters union for Liverpool fans. Now, sometimes people may find that they feel that some people may say that they think that they're more based on local fans, or that they're more based on overseas fans for specific groups. And I suppose, again, that's each individual personal choice. I think they do fantastic work, Spirit of Shankly and Spy on Cop, and I think that they always have the long-term goal of Liverpool supporters in mind in any decisions that they make. I don't know any of them, I've never met any of them, but I do follow their work from afar, and I do know that they certainly are very well clued up on everything that they're involved in with the club, and that they've made tremendous strides forward in breaking down barriers with FSG and trying to get fan representation and trying to get fans involved more in some decision making and stuff like that. And they absolutely deserve to be applauded and commended for that, because there's some very intelligent people there behind the scenes doing some great work. And, we should be thankful and grateful to have these people as Liverpool fans, trying to get the best for all of us. Bernadette Farrell, how are we, Bernadette? Said, this year was the worst for all fans being divided. We've always been the most united fans. You'll never walk alone. It's forgotten sometimes, Craig. And that's what breaks my heart, Bernadette. Because if we go back to 3 or 4 years ago, so the main stand was done, and it was brilliant. And we were all happy that the capacity of Anfield was increased. And of course, we all hoped tickets would become more readily available. But in actual terms, there's probably been more corporate tickets. Now, here's where I am right now. And again, I'm just going to go on a bit of a talk here for a minute or two. So, I won't be in the chat for a second. I'm just going to focus on this to try and get it all out, because there's a lot of falsehoods and a lot of myths out there. So let's talk about local fans for a second. Local fans rightly feel an attachment to the football club. It represents their city. It represents their beliefs about how things should be done. It represents their soul. They live and breathe it. It's been through generations. And I think sometimes local fans might feel that we, as in non-season ticket holders, or people that weren't born in and around Anfield, that we don't understand that they've suffered in all of this as well, because they have seen tickets become more scarce, and I can understand their frustration at it. They have seen ticket prices go up, and I can understand their frustration at it. I get it. I understand it. I understand that the people who are saying FSG out, they look at it and go, well, or some of them might look at it and go, hang on, how can you be FSG out, you idiot? We've been waiting 30 years for a trophy, for a league trophy. They've delivered that league trophy. They've delivered a European Cup, a Super Cup. They've delivered a Club World Cup. They've delivered Jurgen Klopp. We have to take this into account. They're very valid points. Of course, these people have every right to be thankful for that. Just the same as that other people on the other side who aren't so far gone, I believe, have valid points in critiquing FSG on certain things. Because let's not forget, everybody's critiqued FSG on certain things. The £77 ticket prices, the furloughing of staff, trying to copyright or trademark Liverpool from a footballing context. These are all things that the likes of Spirit of Shankly and Spy on Cop, that they've worked to help and try and remove. So there's just too much pulling apart. It doesn't have to be locals against overseas fans, or FSG in versus FSG out. Again, we all have a lot in common. All of us want the best thing. All of us are frustrated about tickets. Fuck it, I can't get to a game. But I understand, and I also understand how, if you grew up as a Scouser and your granddad went to the games and your dad went to the games and you've been going to the games and you want to bring your child to the games and you want to keep that going, I absolutely understand the frustration of not being able to get your hand on a ticket, or looking at people who are willing to pay, extortionate ticket prices via hospitality or travel agents or touts, and looking at them with suspicion. Of course I get that. I understand all of that. And I feel their pain. I do. But we're all in the same boat, and it all comes from the same thing. Football is not a working person's game anymore. It's no longer you work 5.5 days a week, you finish in a half day on Saturday, and you go to the game at 3 o'clock. You have a few pints in the pub and you go to the game. The soul has been ripped out of the game. And when that happened, I guess, is up to each person. Was it with the introduction of the Premier League? Was it with the globalization of football? I don't know. But we all, again, want the same thing. There's so much blaming going on. It's your fault, it's your fault, it's your fault, it's your fault. You don't understand this, you don't understand that. Well, let's fucking talk. Let's talk about it. Because we all want the club to do well. I want all the locals to get to games. Every time I go over to the city, I love it. Always warmly greeted over there, despite what people on Twitter say to me. Only ever had a positive experience with Scousers when I'm out and about. It's a beautiful city. And I'm sure that they also appreciate the influx of money that travellers bring to the city and the tourism. I'm sure that they get that as well. So what I'm trying to say is that we all have the same thing in common. And it breaks my heart to see people pointing the finger of blame at each other on social media and arguing. Because we all just want the club to do well. And we all want to be sitting there at 3 o'clock on a Saturday or whatever, hopefully inside the stadium, or, with mates watching it and enjoying it. Because we're at a time where we all agree we've got an amazing manager, a great bunch of lads, and we're doing quite well. So, let's just try and pull back together. Again, people go, look at these fucking idiots. I get it. I'm here to be ridiculed, whatever. But I'm trying to say is I understand. Overseas fans understand. We feel we're looked down upon. Local fans feel that they're victimised or they're vilified by other people. But where is this division coming from? It's coming from a lack of availability of tickets. It's coming from the globalisation of the sport. It's coming from the football becoming unaffordable to so many of us. Like there's this myth out there that all locals hate foreigners and all foreigners travelling in have an excess of money and are willing to pay over the top for tickets. And the truth is, neither of them are true. The truth is always closer to the middle. And the middle is, we all want to go to the game. And that's not a bad thing. So all I'm saying is, just you know, I'll try it. I've been an asshole at times. But let's just try and bring it back together and get to the You'll Never Walk Alone part and get to moving forward rather than dividing us and having opposition fans pointing in. Because all this arguing and all this bitterness, it doesn't benefit Klopp. It doesn't benefit the lads on the pitch. It doesn't benefit our psyches and it doesn't benefit our soul as fans. And it takes away the enjoyment of the game at a time when that enjoyment is already being ripped apart by the cost of shirts, the cost of going to games, your BT, your Sky subscriptions, all of that shit. So again, I'm nobody. I don't claim to be a spokesperson for fans. I'm just an Irish idiot who loves the club. And I also hate seeing fans arguing. So that's my 2 cents on it all. And again, open to comments to whatever you guys have to say. But that's how I feel about it. What else we got? I want to watch a game from South Africa. It cost my parents everything to watch a game. Man, I feel you. It's you know, and there are people from Australia as well, or from America or Canada, or from Ireland or wherever, Europe. Sometimes it's a once in a lifetime trip. Sometimes it's you know, it take a year saving or something to go to a game. And I hope you get there someday, man. And I hope you get to experience it because it's a beautiful thing. I'll never forget. You know, every time I'm lucky enough to go to Anfield, you know, that feeling of walking up the steps and you start to see the green of the pitch emerge, and then you start to hear the noise and you get the smells and you walk, and nostalgia hits you. You can feel the stadium and the history and the beauty of what you're seeing in front of you. So I hope you get to experience that, dude. I really do. Gaming Time said, you're right, Craig, we have a big divide in our fan base in loads of ways, but overall we all want to do well. Yeah, we do. That's what baffles me at times. We do. We all want the same thing. We all want more European Cups. We all want more league titles. We all want more memories. We all want more stories that we can tell to our kids and our mates and our grandkids and our husbands and our wives and our friends and our dogs and our goldfish and everybody else. We all want the same thing because we all love the club. We all fell in love for different reasons, you know, whether it be Rome or whether it was Istanbul or whether it was Stevie G in the cup final against West Ham or whatever it was. You got the bug, you fell in love with the club, and your heart is there. And your feelings are as valid whether you're from Liverpool city centre, whether you're from another part of the world. You want the same thing. You want the club to do well because you love it.